The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new Proton Pack podcast. It is episode 74. We're talking San Diego Comic-Con at-home highlights today. I'm Kristian, and with me always is the Grogu to my Luke Skywalker. Say hey, Tone.
Hey, guys. It's good to be back for
Don't do that.
another fun-filled episode.
Ready to do my part, General Skywalker.
Absolutely. Well, we encourage you guys to follow us, subscribe, just find us anywhere you can online. You can see what's below us. If you're watching us, Proton Pack Podcast, anywhere you get social media, you can go to the ngbn.tv app and smart TV mobile application, download the Fenix Media channel from there, get us and other great shows as well. And you know what, Tone? I think this would be a good time for us, with as much time as we can, to get into our review of the Loki season finale and a little bit on the assembled making of afterwards. So
I like it.
It's been a couple weeks since we've seen the finale of Loki. It was highly anticipated. I know we were sitting on the edge of our seats waiting for that finale to come out, and it did not disappoint, at least for me. It was a great lead up to the end. We got a wonderful reveal, and I think it's long enough now that everybody knows who the big bad of it was. He Who Remains, also known as a variant of Kang the Conqueror, who we will see later on, played by Jonathan Majors, who did a wonderful job. He was quirky and wacky, and you can tell he's been cooped up in that castle for a long time and just really wanted somebody to talk to. But it was great to see Sylvie's journey, Loki's journey, and then, of course, it left us with a huge sort of cliffhanger that sets up the whole rest of Phase 4, probably Phase 5 and 6 as well. I would have to say, for me, Loki as a whole and the finale, probably the best of the Marvel series so far. I loved WandaVision. I really enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Loki was hands down my favorite. I was just sad we didn't get to see Mobius on a jet ski. What was your take, Tone?
Loved it. The ending was fantastic. While WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier didn't do much to shake up the MCU, Loki definitely did. Definitely having get there. And the minute that you saw Jonathan Majors, which we already knew would be playing Kang the Conqueror and Ant-Man and the Wasp in Quantumania, which will come out next year, I believe.
Yep.
So we knew he was going to be the big bad. So when you saw him, I was like, it's Kang, but it's not King in that particular moment, as that's, like you said, He Who Remains. He's just a variant. And I love they said, why don't you guys just take this over? Because in the end, I'm just going to come back here anyways. It's just going to be a different variant, and you're not going to like which one comes next. And it's just crazy to think all the craziness. Like, if you really want to just wrap your brain around some silly stuff, you think about Loki and the way, like, this changes everything. Like, it almost takes, the Infinity Saga, like that whole thing was that was a chapter in the MCU now. Like, that was a whole novel. This is a whole new book, because everything they did there is gone. It's about to be undone, wiped, you name it. There's so many different timelines now. We got at the end when he's talking to Mobius and he goes, "We messed up." And he's like, "Who are you? You're an analyst, right?" Wow. You're an analyst. So,
Wow.
The whole thing is like, oh, crap, that's not Mobius. And that was another fun twist, because you're like, oh, no, it's a different timeline. Crap.
And it reveals that giant statue of Kang the Conqueror in place of where the Timekeepers were. It was just like, I'm still getting chills based on that.
Oh, it was so crazy. Just then Miss Minutes is like, she's like actually really a bad one, and all that. It's just so nuts how the whole thing was, and just the way it tied up, and the way him and Sylvie, they finally got their kiss, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then she pushed him through the portal, and then she went ahead and killed He Who Remains, and unfortunately, it just all unravels. Yeah, but you can go back in time, and that might not have been it. It's there's theories out there that say Steve Rogers going back in time messed up the timeline too, because there was the lookalike Peggy Carter in the beginning of the first episode of Loki that looked like her being pulled in as a variant, and I just can't wait. I'm so glad we're getting a second season, and I know there'll be things answered. We got so much coming out. I don't know where Shang-Chi falls in line with this, and what if and all that.
Yeah.
But it's all heading towards something, and my God, what a series. So good, worth the watch, loved it. A+, definitely my favorite of the series. It was fantastic.
It was so good. And then, you got the Sylvie and, this variant version of Loki who, by the end, they basically played their roles, and Loki said it, that you can't trust and I can't be trusted. And that's, what led to their fight and the ultimate killing of He Who Remains.
Right.
If you're
what a bad day for Loki too, huh?
Oh, I know.
He's there. He has, the Battle of New York in 2012. He gets the Tesseract, disappears, is caught by the TVA, falls in love, and here we are.
And real quick, I'll touch on Assembled. That was the making of documentary that came out the week after. And it was great to see, how much Tom Hiddleston embodies this character, does the research, and really, helped the other new actors get on board with what his journey was. And then the fact that they filmed all of this through COVID and the pandemic, really interesting to see. And, they even dropped a few little things in there when, they interviewed Jonathan Majors and Tom Hiddleston. And so it'll be fun to see where they take it. If you like behind the scenes stuff like we do, that's well worth checking out.
Assembled is fantastic. Great show.
Only gripe with Assembled was that they didn't even touch on Miss Minutes.
No, they never interviewed Tara Strong, had her on there at all. You're right.
Nope.
You're right. They did not do that. I would agree with you on that gripe. But definitely, if you guys check it out, it's on Disney Plus. Very neat to see the sets they built just for something as simple as that town when they're trying to escape the rocket ship, right? And just
for that one shot, yeah.
Yeah, just all for that. Crazy. So neat.
Well, folks, that does it for the first segment. Just flies by like that. When we come back, we will be back with TV news, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a few.
Behold, my precious. Ooh, yeah, let me tell you something right here. It's the Loot Crate subscription box, full of exclusive loot, fun surprises delivered to your door every month.
Just pick up your favorite geeky genre, Daddy.
From the original Loot Crate, the Loot Crate DX collectible boxes, dude! Cowabunga!
To the Loot Gaming video game box.
Woohoo! Yee-hoo!
Good Friday Horror Box. What's with kids today, huh?
Wowzers! With crates starting as low as $11.99 per month, there's a box just about for all collectors.
To get your geek on, head over to phoenixmedia.us/Loot Crate and claim your exclusive offer. That's FENIX media.us/Loot Crate. Great Scott!
Snap into a Loot Crate, dig it?
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopRex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. And welcome back, folks, to the Proton Pack podcast. We just finished up with our review of Loki season finale and the assembled making of documentary that came out after that. And if I'm not mistaken, next Wednesday is the first episode of What If, right?
No, the 11th.
Oh.
So we still got, what is this? Next week is the 4th. So yeah, the 11th.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Gotta wait a little bit longer. Luckily, we have the Bad Batch.
Maybe they'll do like a Legends to lead up, but Legends doesn't really work for a What If because it's just a what if.
It's just a recap.
And I just don't know what If is going to be like. I know it's just alternate verses, but how is that going to tie into the MCU? I'm excited to see. I
think we're about to find out.
As long as it doesn't disappoint like the twist in Master of the Universe, right?
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic that we don't have time to get into.
We don't have time. We'll get into that another time.
Yeah. What we do have time for is, well, TV news.
Bazinga.
The cream of the crop!
Hey, baby. Let's go, Bob.
Excellent.
Hail to the king, baby.
So as I mentioned,
shakalaka.
As I mentioned at the top of the show, today's show is a recap, highlights of San Diego Comic-Con at home, which was this past weekend. Not a whole bunch of big news, but enough to keep us satisfied. Obviously, the big news will come with D23, DC Fandom, but a few recognizable names that we got some information on. For instance, we now have the release date and title for the Dexter revival. With its panel that just came, and the official title is now Dexter New Blood, will premiere on Showtime on November 7th, 2021. The 10-episode Dexter revival is set 10 years after Dexter went missing in the eye of Hurricane Laura. The character is now living under an assumed name in upstate New York, far from his original home in Miami. The Dexter revival is technically considered a closed-ended revival, though it does continue the original series, which ended with a controversial series finale in 2013 that is still very polarizing for fans. The revival's new series regulars include Clancy Brown as the primary villain, Julia Jones as the town's chief of police, Alano Miller as the sergeant high school wrestling coach, Johnny Sequoia as the chief's daughter, and Jack Alcott as Randall, someone with whom Dexter has a meaningful encounter. As previously reported, John Lithgow will be returning as the Trinity Killer. Don't know how. Lithgow previously offered up some insights about his return, as news of Jennifer Carpenter, who played Dexter's sister on the original series, also brought more veterans back to the show. I'm excited for the revival. I hope they sort of retcon what happened in the series finale that happened back in 2013. I have no idea how they're going to include Jonathan Lithgow or Jennifer Carpenter based on the way that was left. But Tony, November 7th, you tuning in?
Oh, heck yeah. I want to see it. Now, here's a couple of things they could do with it. You could pull a full Roseanne. Like, remember they killed Dan off? They just forgot. Like, they just omitted like that never happened. And
right.
They just moved on. You could do that, right? You could do that with Deb, and then Deb's back. You could do it with her. With Trinity Killer, I almost feel like it'll be like his dark passenger, like how he had Harry was his good conscience. And you could even have Deb as the new good conscience because there's no talk of Harry coming back. So maybe Deb's replaced that role to keep him sane. like
maybe
to make the good judgment, and then you kind of got the Trinity Killer as the dark, like, do it, he deserves it.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe you've got
kind of a conscience thing.
The angel and the demon on each of his shoulders.
Yeah, that's one way where you could still keep the canon of the story and do that, or you could just simply just say, yeah, F that last season, this is where we're at. That works too. I mean, it's fine. The last season sucks so bad. The finale was terrible.
And season 3 with John Lithgow, my favorite.
Oh, the Trinity Killer was awesome. Yeah.
So good.
Which is weird. You would think he would keep Rita would be like his good passenger,
Right.
Because that was like his love, that was the mom of his, they had a kid together, all that good stuff. And then to find her horrifically murdered in that bathtub, yikes. You'll never forget when you saw that scene. You're like, whoa.
Nope. And hopefully we find out what happened to his kid as well, because who knows?
Yeah, he's down in Miami Beach, I'm sure. The slice of life.
Well, going from one serial killer to another. No, just kidding about that. It's been announced that a new Pokemon series is in early development at Netflix. Details about the plot are still nestled firmly inside a Pokeball, but sources say that Lucifer's Joe Henderson is attached to write and executive produce. Sources close to the project say that it's a live-action effort, much like 2019's Pokemon Detective Pikachu, starring Ryan Reynolds and Justice Smith. The newly announced Pokemon project is bound to have fans of the beloved RPG franchise freaking out because everyone knows that you can never have too much Pokemon. Henderson currently serves as co-showrunner and executive producer on Netflix's Lucifer, which is getting ready to unleash its 6th and final season. Henderson is also busy developing a series adaptation of the comic book Shadecraft for Netflix. Tony, I know you're a huge Lucifer fan. The series, not the...
Right, not the devil. Yeah.
Pokemon Detective Pikachu, it was enjoyable. What do you think about sort of that mashup there and then bringing a live-action series to Netflix?
I think it's great for fans of Pokemon. The movie wasn't bad. It's not for me per se, but it's definitely it's great for Netflix to have more original shows. They got to compete with all the other streaming networks out there. So good for them, and it's a good property. It's so it's a win for the fans of the franchise for sure. For me personally, it doesn't faze, but
and I doubt we'll see Ryan Reynolds back as Pikachu.
I doubt it. You're going to have to kind of change that up. So
yeah. Don't know if it's going to be a continuation. And obviously, as we get more information, we'll let you guys know. But, let's move from Netflix over to HBO Max, where I know this was a comic book series that had a lot of people concerned and obviously voice loud opinions. But there are rumors that Michael B. Jordan might be suiting up as the Man of Steel for some time, but the actor has typically denied them. Although Jordan won't be taking to the skies for the Ta-Nehisi Coates penned Superman movie, it's possible he may be involved in a separate Superman project. According to Collider, Michael B. Jordan and his production company Outlier Society are developing their own Black Superman project for HBO Max that centers on the Val Zod incarnation of the character. Collider sources say that an unnamed writer is currently working on the script and that the project is being developed as a limited series for HBO Max. Michael B. Jordan will produce the project, and Collider states that he may also star in the series, but hasn't officially committed to that aspect just yet. While the Superman movie written by Ta-Nehisi Coates and produced by J.J. Abrams will be reimagined version of the Clark Kent character, Jordan's project will be centered around Val Zod, a Kryptonian from Earth-2, whose parents were executed by the Kryptonian court, and who later took the mantle of Superman upon his arrival on Earth. I'm one of those people who...
You're at a loss for words. You're like,
Don't change what we know about a character. For instance, the movie project that they're talking about where it's a reimagining of Clark Kent, I'm less enthused about that than this Michael B. Jordan character being developed, Val Zod, who, he's got the same Kryptonian powers. He is a different character completely from what we know of Clark Kent and Superman. And it makes for just a larger story overall that really won't put people on edge.
Yeah, I think when you try to reimagine things, it doesn't always work. Snake Eyes is a great example. The hardcore G.I. Joe fan is not likely to love the movie Snake Eyes, because if you followed the story growing up, that's not how he was, and that's not what became of him. But, they took liberties. They had the property. They told their story. And I like the casting of Michael B. Jordan in this. I think it's awesome. Yeah. It's a great role. To have, an African-American Superman-esque character is fantastic. And
he's a wonderful actor, too.
Yeah, he is. He was great in Black Panther. He wasn't even bad as Johnny Storm in that terrible Fantastic Four. He was just a victim of a really bad script and a really bad movie. And it's not his fault.
He was probably the best part of it.
Yeah, he wasn't bad at all. So I think it's great for him. He's a fantastic actor. I think the show will be good, but I agree with you. I think when you mess with source material and then you take liberties and stuff, it's bad. Why don't you just tell your own story? Why don't you take in a reimagination? And we'll get into that later with our trailer of the week, where I mean with that, taking the original source material, but yet making it your own while still saying to that. There's ways to do that. So.
Couldn't agree more, Tone.
I would say that, yeah.
Unfortunately,
but nonetheless, it for HBO Max, a good win though. I mean, it's something I would check out. I'd be interested in it for sure. Yeah,
totally. And then finally, moving from HBO Max over to Disney Plus with a series that we're excited for season 3 on, and of course we alluded to a little bit at the top of the show. An officially licensed poster based on The Mandalorian has been released that depicts Luke Skywalker and Grogu building a lightsaber. The Mandalorian Season 2 concluded at the end of last year, bringing an end to a season filled to the brim with cameos and Easter eggs from Star Wars fans. While the studio has yet to confirm a concrete release date for the show's 3rd season, there are reports The Mandalorian Season 3 is currently filming. In an action-packed finale, the last few minutes of The Mandalorian Season 2 see the titular Mandalorian handing off his infant companion Grogu to Luke Skywalker to be trained in the ways of the Force. Fans were elated to see a young Luke Skywalker in action once again, excited by the implications that a Skywalker-trained Grogu presents for Star Wars lore. Now, the poster obviously was done for Comic-Con at home, and just looking through, it doesn't necessarily say how you can get your hands on it, but we'll post a link up there so you can see it, and maybe it's even a little tease for what we'll see in Season 3.
Yeah, I like the look of it. I like how Grogu is like looking up at the bits and pieces of the lightsaber there, and you got Luke, a young Luke, with a little bit of the Force. I would imagine the yellow orb in his hand,
that yellow kyber crystal.
Yeah, so I think that's cool. That's beautiful artwork, as Star Wars tends to have, for their posters. I'm excited for Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to it. I think they do kind of got to branch away from the Grogu a bit. They told the story. Now it's time to go on a new mission. Of course, I want them to cross paths at some point, but you do got to kind of go on a different story now.
Yeah, and I was going to say maybe they do diverging storylines where they tell Grogu's story, the Mandalorian story, and then by the season finale, they come back together.
Yeah,
which I would like.
I look forward to it. Yeah, I'm all for it. Hey, the Star Wars the shows with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau behind it, all fantastic. You cannot go wrong with any of it. So A+.
Yep. Well, folks, that does it for the TV portion of the show. Stay tuned after the break. We'll be talking movie news and box office reports, so don't go anywhere.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving. without going overboard. So you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. And welcome back, folks, to the Proton Pack podcast. Before the break, we talked a little TV news. We're about to get into movie news, but not before we bring you all, well, the weekend box office report. Taking the top spot was a movie neither of us expected. The M. Night Shyamalan Old took the number one spot with an estimated opening of $16.5 million. Let's see.
What a twist! We didn't call that one last week.
No, we figured that'd be at least 2 or 3 somewhere in there. But it's also made $6.5 million from international audiences for a worldwide total of $23 million. Obviously not his biggest score. It was actually even less than his previous low, which was Lady in the Water. But given the whole pandemic shutdown.
I forgot about that one, yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
Yeah, if you guys have seen Old, Kristian and I haven't seen it yet. So let us know below in the comments if it was good or bad. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down on it. Let us know. We'd like to hear any of the movies we cover. If you guys like it, man, jam on at the bottom as you're watching along. Like, I loved Old. It was good. The twist was? Don't spoil the twist. We do intend to see it at some point. But
you know, it's...
the twist is it was the number one movie is the twist.
Surprised the hell out of me. Yeah. The number 2 movie was a movie I know you went to see. Reese went to see. I haven't had a chance to yet.
Snake Eyes.
Yep. G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes with $13.3 million for the weekend. Looking through, it looks like it cost $88 million. And, the scores aren't too good for it. It got 42% on Rotten Tomatoes, 43% on Metacritic. Real quick, Tone, what was your take on Snake Eyes?
Definitely, it was enjoyable. The action was great. The storytelling was a little cheesebally. I think it was aimed more at teenage boys, teenage and younger. Not so much the G.I. Joe fan because they took liberties in the storytelling. They created their own thing. They didn't really follow. And kind of the ending twist was kind of silly, but I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was fantastic, but I didn't think it was that bad. It was definitely a 50-50 movie. So out of 10, I'd have to give it a 5 because that's right in the middle. It's not a piece of crap, but it's not great. It's just kind of there. It's worth one watch. Now, if you're a teenage boy, like I'm sure your son Reese loved it, right? He enjoyed the hell out of it. Yeah, it's designed more for the younger audience, a teenage kid, young kids. The violence, like the action is there, but like the sword slicing and stuff, man, you hear the sounds, but you never see the visual of blood. So it's good for the kids. It's a good kid movie. I just so.
So as long as I go in with low expectations, I shouldn't be too disappointed.
Yeah, don't go in with your G.I. Joe like fandom, like knowledge from what you knew as a kid to what you expect, because you'll be disappointed.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to third place of the weekend's box office, which we expected to be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Marvel's Black Widow brought in another $11.6 million, bringing its domestic total to $154.8, worldwide $314.9. It's doing well for itself, just not as well as we expected. Of course, that doesn't take into account the Premier Access numbers that I'm sure they've got millions of dollars from that.
I think that really hurts it. I think your numbers would be so much higher if like people didn't have to go home, especially with all the recent spikes in, COVID, things like that. It kind of might scare some people out. So I think there's some things that hurt it, and money wise, you think about $30 a pop just to watch it. That's pretty damn impressive. They don't release those numbers, but for the box office, that does hurt for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great movie, by the way. If you guys haven't seen that, go see that one.
Agreed. Fourth place was, Space Jam: A New Legacy, brought in another $9.5 million. I haven't seen it. No desire to see it. It's on HBO Max. Go see it there.
Yeah, just see that. Or, it's surprisingly not bad. There's a free game, and it's not video game time, but you can go on PlayStation, I think the Switch and Xbox, and you can download Space Jam: A New Legacy for free. If you like an old, Sega Genesis beat 'em up game, it's surprisingly okay.
Interesting.
It's free.
I would have thought they would go with more like an NBA Jam type.
Yeah, no, it's Bugs Bunny, LeBron, and Lola are just in a beat 'em up, and then you collect Looney Tune characters as your power ups, and they do special attacks on people. It's weird, but it's free. But the movie looks dumb. I have no desire. I'm like you. Again, if you guys have seen it, let us know. If you got young kids, I'm sure they loved it. But
yeah. And then finally in fifth place, we have Fast 9, Fast Saga, $4.6 million. Just a popcorn flick, over the top.
There's a lot of drama out of that one. The Rock took a shot on him and said, I wish them the best of luck. I guess Vin Diesel critiqued Dwayne Johnson's current movie choices. And he goes, well, that's okay. I won't be... You won't. Yeah, I wish them the best of luck. You're not going to see me in any other one. So no Hobbs.
No more Hobbs and Shaw.
Nope. He's not coming back for any of them. He straight up said that during a Jungle Cruise junket. So
damn you, Vin Diesel. Yeah, rounding out the top 10 in the box office, you had Escape Room: Tournament of Champions with $3.4 million. The Boss Baby Family Business with $2.7 million. The Forever Purge with $2.3 million. Quiet Place Part 2 with $1.25 million, and then Roadrunner, a film about Anthony Bourdain with $830,000.
I still think you say that. I think it's going to be about legit the Roadrunner.
Right.
Who would have thought, man? There's a lot of Looney Tunes in the top 10. You got Space Jam and Roadrunner.
And I expect that we're going to see a new number one this week with the Jungle Cruise coming out.
That for sure. That is a lock it down. That's your number one next week. And then you have The Green Knight, which is a long delayed period fantasy, and then Stillwater with Matt Damon. The Green Knight looks not bad. Stillwater looks okay. I would predict those in the top 5 possibly, but Jungle Cruise for sure is going to be number one.
Totally.
Looks enjoyable.
That does it for the box office report. Let's go ahead and roll on into that movie news.
And here we go.
Are you the keymaster?
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
This baby hits 88 miles per hour. You're going to see some serious shit.
Yes, you will, Doc Brown. Well, one of the advantages to us delaying our production of this episode was that we were treated to a new trailer, for the namesake of this show, a movie that we've been looking forward to for a long time. And of course, they just released, the latest trailer gives a little bit more story, a little more insight into what we can expect from, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Let's give it a watch.
You're a great mom.
I don't know. I'm fine with Trevor. But with Phoebe,
Finn,
she really keeps me on the outside.
That's normal. She's an awkward, nerdy kid.
Young Carol Danvers.
A new home can be an opportunity to start fresh. I just wish she'd get into some trouble.
There's still time.
What are you doing here in Somerville anyway?
We're completely broke, and my grandfather left us this creepy old farmhouse in the middle of nowhere.
Your father wasn't much of a homemaker. He could hardly
Ghostbusters.
You're saying he left us nothing?
Well, I wouldn't say nothing.
You went with the station wagon?
It's the only one that had an engine.
Ooh, that's a nice throwback to the 84 movie.
Totally.
What is happening here?
Somehow, the town with no fault lines is shaking on a daily basis.
Maybe it's the apocalypse.
Dun, dun, dun.
Egon came out here for a reason.
Are you troubled by strange noises in the middle of the night?
Do you experience feelings of dread in your basement or attic?
Every day.
Have you or any of your family ever seen a spook, specter, or ghost?
Oh my god.
Oh, cool.
You guys hear that?
Something's coming.
The whole city. It's like The Walking Dead.
Oh, looks like the taxi one.
Zool.
Ghostbusters, we're ready to believe you.
Spray.
We're closed.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
I've watched that trailer 4 times now and still gives me chills every single time.
Love it. I watched today during the workout, I watched McKenna Grace's, who plays Phoebe. I watched her reaction. She hadn't seen the trailer, or let alone any of the finished products, and she's filmed it. She goes, "Oh my God, we look so cool!" Like her, and they obviously because they're focusing on a younger group of Ghostbusters. But man, oh man, we knew it was going to be like an Egon type story. But man, some of the throwbacks, like where Finn is, I don't know what his character, did he say Trevor? Is his name? Yeah, so you got Finn's character Trevor working on the Ecto-1. That's a shade back when you go back to the 84 movie and they're in the firehouse and it's just the old, car before it was Ecto-1. Same thing. He's under there wrenched away. He had the cigarette in his mouth when Dana walked by.
Yep.
That was a pretty same shot for shot right there. I liked it. And this is where we go back from earlier when I said, when we talked about Superman with Michael B. Jordan, you can take a movie like this and you're still using all your original source. You're telling a whole new story while still incorporating the true original material. You're not rewriting it like that was the fault of Ghostbusters 2016. They tried to retell the story where they could have just done it as a continuation and it would have been fine. It probably would have been a lot better if they just would have said, yep, this is in the Ghostbuster universe. Yes, New York happened. Yes, this happened. And instead of retelling their own story, seeing that's what went wrong for them. So this is what Afterlife has got going for it, is they're being true to the source. Also helps that it's Ivan Reitman's son, Jason, doing it. So what bigger Ghostbuster fan than Jason? The fact that it made his dad cry when they screened it, high hopes, man. Unfortunately, my expectation level for this movie is high. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
This trailer opened up so many more questions. For instance, Janine, did Spengler and Janine end up getting together and now she's the grandmother of these children? That's kind of the sense I get from this.
That's the way I got.
You saw one of the demon dogs, which alludes to either Zool or Vince Clortho. Are one of them returning?
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, and if anyone out there was wondering what the name of the other ghost, that wasn't Slimer, that was Muncher. And if you want to avoid spoilers, don't go look at the new toy line. They kind of give away a lot of the look of the new Ghostbusters. Yeah. So I unfortunately looked at it. I'm still excited. It doesn't make me not want to see it, but I'm very excited for this movie. I can't flip and wait. Of all movies this year, that's the one. That's the one I've been looking forward to. That's the one I cannot wait for.
Thanksgiving can't come quick enough. And then finally, folks, we head into our break, I wanted to touch on one more piece of movie news. According to creator Robert Kirkman, massive efforts are being made to make Invincible's live-action movie different from the Amazon Prime Video animated series. 4 years ago, it was announced that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg would write, direct, and produce an adaptation of Kirkman's comic screen. Then a year later, Amazon announced The Invincible was being developed as an animated series with the same creatives attached. Similar to The Boys concept, Amazon's Invincible is a more mature take on superheroes, which is arguably more violent than the former, thanks to the possibilities of animation. The animated series is fantastic. If you love sort of the DC Warner Brothers animated, you'll like these, and it ramps up the violence hugely. A live action series will be a lot of fun to watch. And Tone, I know you haven't gotten on board yet, but when you find some time, I highly recommend it.
Well, I got some time now, which is good. Like a new shift change, definitely have some evenings off now, which is pretty badass. So looking forward to it.
Now, I'll have to send you a whole list of what to get caught up on, Tone.
There we go, man. There we go. Invincible's one of them, and The Boys. Those are two.
Oh, so many. Well, folks, that does it for this segment. When we come back, we're headed into video game news, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio, take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Behold my precious. Ooh, yeah, let me tell you something right here. It's the Loot Crate subscription box, yeah, full of exclusive loot, fun surprises delivered to your door every month.
Just pick up your favorite geeky genre, Daddy.
From the original Loot Crate, the Loot Crate DX collectible boxes, dude! Cowabunga!
To the Loot Gaming video game box. Woohoo! Yee-hoo!
Loot Crate horror box. What's with kids today, huh?
Wowzers! With crits starting as low as $11.99 per month, there's a box just about for all collectors. To get your geek on, head over to phoenixmedia.us/Loot Crate and claim your exclusive offer. That's FENIX media.us/Loot Crate. Great Scott!
Snap into a Loot Crate, dig it?
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Well, folks, we are to the final segment of this episode of the Proton Pack podcast. We've been talking about San Diego Comic-Con at home, some of the highlights from that, some of the information on TV and movies that were released. But as you know, in this fourth segment, we don't talk about TV. We don't talk about movies. We talk about video games.
Hey man, you want to play some video games?
Hadouken!
Oh my! He's on fire!
Well, it's about that time that, we're getting back almost into football season, and Madden 22 rating season is officially underway, with the Green Bay Packers' Davante Adams revealed as its one and only 99 overall wide receiver, at least for now. Adams returns to the 99 club after another strong season that saw him reel in 115 receptions for 1,374 yards and an NFL-high 18 touchdowns. His stats were enough to earn him a near-unanimous first-team All-Pro selection, receiving 49 out of a possible 50 votes. This is not Adams' first stint in the 99 club. After starting at 94 overall in Madden 21, Adams steadily climbed in the ratings, finally reaching 99 overall in December. He's joined at the top of this year's list by DeAndre Hopkins, who has a 98, Tyreek Hill, who also has a 98, Stefon Diggs with a 97, and Julio Jones, who rounds out the top 5 at 95. Now, Madden 22 is set to be released on all of the major platforms on August 20th, just in time for the NFL season. And they don't give much here about many changes that we'll see to the game. Madden is a perfectly serviceable game. The graphics for me have always been good, decent enough, but I always preferred the 2K games, their version of NFL. I wish they would come back with it, but right now, our only choice as far as football games is Madden.
Yeah, unfortunately with EA, and my whole thing is, who gives a rat's ass about the ratings? I mean, seriously, who gives a shit? You can literally go in, if you take the time, you can think of the crappiest receiver on your team, which as for the Broncos, we have pretty good receivers. But think of the crappiest receiver or running back you have on your team. You can amp them up to 99. Hell, we could take Drew Lock and we can make him a 99 on Madden. And guess what? He's a flipping superstar. It's a video game. Yeah. Who gives a rat's ass about ratings? This is the problem with Madden, is them and their stupid fantasy MUT cards and to unlock veterans. Let me just play a game, make it different. If I can unlock legends playing along the way, fantastic. But why do I have to go online and buy these packs to get the Walter Payton pack or the John Elway pack? Who gives a shit? It's the same game every year. And I love football, obviously, but the Madden games, they don't excite me. It's the same shit year after year. That's my rant. It's these money-grubbing bastards at EA, they whore out these franchises. Exactly. They whore out these franchises. They whip these out with these polished, nice graphics. But like you said, the 2K ones were always more fun. It's about the gameplay and stuff. And I don't know. They make a big stink about who's on the cover and all that stuff. And it's like, why don't you put what you did back in 2010? You had the Steelers, you had the Cardinals. So you had up front, you had Big Ben and I believe Jerome Bettis on there, and then you got
previous years.
You had Warner and Fitzgerald. Yeah, have them match up on the cover. Like it was yellow and red, and it was like for that year. And I think that's how it should be. The two teams that go to the Super Bowl, it should be their best lineup of their, the superstars of each team, like in a showdown, kind of like a WWE, like those right before their match and they're like posing. Yep. Should be something like that, and that'd be cool. But anyways, the Madden ratings, garbage. Who gives a shit? and now Davante Adams at least will legit be a 99 because Rodgers came back. So Good for them, bad for us, but oh well. Life moves on.
And Tony, you and I are casual gamers where, we've got 20 minutes to pick up a game, play it, put it down. We don't have time to buy packs and build out teams and players throughout seasons and things along those lines. That's where a 2K game was fantastic. You pick it up, you play it, you go. Speaking of which, moving on to our next story, EA is apparently not finished with basketball quite yet. While NBA Live went dormant in 2019, Axios reports that the sport giant is working on next-generation basketball games that could revive EA's fortunes in the space. We've got some next-generation HD basketball projects that we have been talking about and designing and working on, EA Sports General Manager Daryl Holt said. In this instance, high definition is shorthand for consoles, meaning next-gen platforms like Xbox Series X and S or PS5. If EA's projects reach fruition, they will be its first foray into the space of NBA since NBA Live 19 was released in 2018. Since then, obviously, 2K Games has taken that over, making beautiful games. My boys have NBA 2K on their iPads. I glanced over one day. I was like, oh, what game you watching? They weren't watching a game. They were playing NBA 2K on their iPad on a mobile device, and it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the mechanics work really well. EA getting back into that game, doesn't excite me.
No, definitely does not. EA's again pain in the ass, and they don't support the Switch. So you're not going to find Madden, and you're not going to find NBA. You're not going to find their licensed games on the Switch, which is crazy to me because the Switch is just powerful enough to run all that. It's not like it's the Nintendo Wii or anything like that. It's not gimmicky. You don't have to take it. It's just smart. Take it on the go. Play it at home. Take it on the go. More people would buy your games probably for that platform for the simple fact they can take it on the go.
I would.
Yeah.
Times that I'm traveling, I'd love to play, an NBA.
A quick round. Yeah. Graphics are beautiful, though, on the 2K basketball game. Beautiful. Well done by them. Would love to see an NFL game. And hell, I'd love to see MLB come back to them too. That was great. Although Sony does a really good job with the MLB license, the show, fantastic game. Way well done. Graphics, gameplay, everything about it, beautiful.
Good to know. I may have to pick it up on.
And EA doesn't own it, which is great. Yeah. EA has nothing to do with it. It's just Sony, and they even were so nice, they even let it go on the Xbox, which is crazy. But they put it out on Xbox this year. It's beautiful. Such a great game.
Right on. And then speaking of the Switch and even Wii era, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD was recently re-released. Tony, I know you picked it up. And with about a minute, give us your overall review of it. I know you haven't had a lot of time to dive deep into it, but what did you think?
Yeah, so Zelda hater or Zelda lovers out there, don't hate me. I have not gone through this game and played it, and I didn't even play the Wii version, to be honest with you. I think it was just out of my realm. Zelda games are dedication. So if you're going to pick up a Zelda game, don't expect like Legend of Zelda, A Link's Awakening, A Link to the Past, the top down. That's more my Zelda style. This is more 3D. Graphics are beautiful. So they've really upgraded from the Nintendo Wii. So much like the Super Mario Galaxy from the Mario collection, they did a great job polishing it. It looks fantastic. The controls are not motion control this time. You have the option. That was the big gimmick with the Wii, so you can play with the standard controller. A lot of stories, but of course that comes with Zelda. You got to talk to a lot of people to find your sword to get the game going. But once the game actually gets going, the gameplay is fluid. It's nice. If you've never played it before, it's like playing a Zelda game for the first time. Graphics are not quite Switch quality, but it is. You can tell it's an older game. Plays a little bit like that. But for Zelda fans, definitely worth a pickup. For the casual gamer that doesn't have time, I'd probably say avoid. So, Kristian, I wouldn't advise it to you. I don't see you playing a lot of time, but Zelda fans, rejoice. It's a great game. Definitely a pickup, especially at Walmart, where it's $10 cheaper than everywhere else. So.
Even better. Yeah, it looks like a fun game. Wish I had more time. Unfortunately, I don't. Speaking of being out of time, we're out of time for the show. Wow. So, folks, until next week, we'll see you. Tony, anything you want to leave everybody on?
Yeah, you guys definitely support the box office. Go out there, see movies. Let us know what you think. Anything we can do better, please let us know below. Like us, subscribe, share, love us, tweet us, whatever you want to do. Just support us. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Peace out.
All right. See you guys next week.
I am hasta la vista, baby.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. Woo! Yowie, wowie.
Mommy, where's Fluffy?
Goodbye.